With 3 cups of flour, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to whisk this until it's well mixed. And next, we're going to add half a cup of cold butter, and I've cut it into tiny little pieces. We're just going to mix it into our flour. Next, we're going to add 1 egg. This was a room temperature egg. And we're going to add our water a little bit at a time so we can form the dough. And as for the water, I'm starting off with about 3/4 of a cup of water. And make sure that you take some of the leftover flour and you just spread it around on your surface. And then you can begin kneading it here. Alrighty, I've been kneading this for about 4 minutes. It's almost at the consistency or texture that we want. So as you guys can see, it's a nice soft texture. So just gonna give it one last knead. We're gonna form a little ball. And now, there you have it. We're gonna put it into our bowl. Cover it up. If you have plastic wrap, perfect. If you don't, or if you're environmentally conscious, this works too. And we're going to refrigerate it for an hour. For now, we're going to move on to our ground beef. The thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up some oil, and we're going to put half of a big white onion to saute until it's nice and brown. So this should take about 5 minutes. And this is all going to be done at medium heat. Now that our onion is nice and brown, we're going to add 2 to 4 minced garlic cloves. And I say 2 to 4 because some people are conservative with their garlic, and I love garlic. So for me, the more the better. And we're just going to saute it in there for about 2 minutes. Now we're going to add our ground beef. You're going to break it apart. and just mix it up. And we're going to cook it until it's nice and brown. Alrighty, now that it's nice and brown color, it's not fully cooked, but it's nice and brown, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste, I'm going to add a teaspoon of red pepper, and this red pepper is also known as cayenne pepper, and I usually get my spices at Trader Joe's. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of paprika, and we're going to add about a teaspoon or a pinch of oregano, and this is from my mom's herbs, and of course a teaspoon of ground cumin. And cumin has a strong scent and a strong taste, so you never want to go overboard with it, but it's delicious. Now we're going to mix that up. Once we've stirred all that up, we're going to add some Lawry seasoned salt. We're going to add 2 to 4 serranos. I have 3 serranos in here because as I was cutting them, they smelled a little spicy. Mix that up. This whole meal is starting to smell so delicious, so savory. You have the blend of all the spices, of the tomato paste, the onion, the garlic. It's unbelievable. Now that we've added most of our spices, I'm going to add 2 small potatoes. I'm going to add pepper. And then we're going to mix this up. We're going to cook it without a lid for about 4 minutes, and then we're going to cover it up so that the potato can get nice and soft. It has a beautiful color already. Looks amazing. It looks like it's just about ready for us to put the lid on. So I'm going to cover it up, lower the heat to low to medium, and give it about 8 minutes. Alrighty, so our potatoes are super soft and our beef is super brown and super crisp. Everything looks great. We're going to move on to making our empanadas. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat, give it a quick stir, and cover it back up. Alrighty, so our dough has been chilling for about an hour. And we're just going to take it out. And we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to roll out the other half into about 1/4 of an inch. Now remember, yes, I mentioned that you could already use pre-made dough such as pastry dough or pizza crust dough would work too. I mean, not pizza crust, pie crust. What am I saying? Pie crust dough, not pizza. Do not use pizza crust. Alrighty, so about 1/4 inch. Now we're going to take this little cookie cutter, and this one is about 4.5 inches in diameter. And I'm going to start cutting some circles. And I'm only going to make a few. Now with the rest of the dough, you just re-roll it and we can make some more. For now I'm going to make only 5. First thing we're going to do is we're going to wet the outer edges of our dough. And then we're going to spoon in the mixture. Don't add too much mixture, or else you're not going to be able to get this over. Just press it down. We're going to grab a fork and seal it up. Then we're going to put it on parchment paper. And you want to let the filling cool a little bit, just so that it's not too hot and it's going to warm up the dough. It's a lot harder to play with mushy dough. And I actually got these little cookie rounds on Amazon. We're going to get a little bit of egg wash. Just put it on top and on the edges. And this egg wash is literally just 1 egg with about a tablespoon of water. And this is going to give the empanadas that nice golden color. You don't want to skip this step. So now we're going to bake these at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And there you guys have it. I just took them out of the oven. They look delicious. They smell great. And I paired them up with a delicious roasted chili salsa. I'm going to show you guys how delicious they look inside. Just look at that. You can make them cheesy by adding some Monterey Jack or cheddar into them. But this, paired with my salsa, is going to be amazing.